All content featured on the Taylor Show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All stories discussed herein are based on alleged events and personal opinions. Nothing shared should be taken as fact or professional advice. Any viewpoints expressed are solely those of host and do not represent any business or organizations.
Hello and welcome back to the Taylor Show. I'm your host, you guessed it, I'm Taylor Brooke. Hi, hey, hello little gremlins, and we are back for season 2. And you may be thinking, wait, you're not in sunny LA right now. Weren't you going to do your season 2 premiere in Los Angeles? Yes, gremlins, I was. But as you may be familiar with, if you are on the northeast side of this country, you're snowed in right now because we are getting a blizzard. So what else are you going to do during a blizzard? You're going to put on your favorite podcaster. And that's me. Like I said, I'm Taylor Brooke, and I'm so glad that you turned me on today because it's season 2. It's the Taylor Show. And there's only one way to open up season 2. And that's just you and me, babes. Let's talk. Let's catch up on everything that we missed in between season 1 and now. We got to talk about the Brooklyn Beckham of it all. Okay. So again, this is a solo episode, so I don't have anybody here saying, hey, Taylor, I disagree with you. So I can digress as much as I want in this episode. I can talk as much shit as I possibly want. But we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Beckham of it all. I like Victoria Beckham. I don't really know much about David Beckham except he can bend it. And, you know, he was a soccer player, a football player. So, I'm not attached to them. I am attached to the drama. I love that he is being so vocal on social media. So if you don't know what's happening, Brooklyn Beckham recently posted a series of Instagram stories basically calling out his mom and dad for being mean to his wife, Nicola. This is what I think about it. And feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Brooklyn Beckham and the Beckhams, they are new money. Okay, right? They built their brands together. As a family unit, they're important. Nicola comes from old money. It's a little quieter. It's quiet luxury. So when you think about that wedding, think about the craziness of two major families trying to plan a wedding. So allegedly, Nicola got very upset because Victoria did not design her gown. Okay, fair, I guess. Do you really want your mother-in-law designing what you look like on your wedding day? I don't know. Again, I digress. At the wedding, and Mark Anthony was just kind of thrown into this by, I don't know why. Poor Mark Anthony. He goes up to say, and this is all alleged, let me say alleged. Allegedly, this moment is brought to you by my lawyers. We're saying allegedly. Casey's over here like, thank God she just said allegedly. So it's the first dance. Mark Anthony, he's got the mic. He's like, all right, Brooklyn and Nicola, it is your time to dance. Whatever. That's like supposed to be what happens. Instead, he says, Victoria, come out here and join your son. And then allegedly there was a dance that Brooklyn and Victoria did, and Victoria was dancing inappropriately on her son. Allegedly, Nicola went to her friends and was like, I can't even go out there anymore. It's my wedding. I'm so embarrassed. Her face was puffy. She was crying. She was upset. Her friends were like, you got to go out there. That's your husband. I don't know why Victoria's doing that. I don't know why his mom's being like that. I'm Team Brooklyn on this 1000% because any moms out there who have boys, if you're a boy mom, and it's funny because boy moms have reached out to me after some of the podcast episodes have come out and they've been like, my son's not like this. You're talking shit on men, but that's every boy but my son. Okay, so if you're a boy mom, I feel like you're semi-self-aware that their wedding is not about you at all. If you are the mother of the groom, the wedding is not about you, Victoria Beckham. It's not about you. If it's going to be about any parent, honestly, it should be about the bride's mom. Like if it has to be about someone's mom, it should be about the bride's mom. There is something so messy and gross and just, it makes me nauseous. I don't like moms that are in love with their sons. Like, that's weird. I think there's something off about it. I think the fact that she wanted to do the first dance with her son is really weird. So I'm totally on Team Brooklyn, and I love a Nepo baby. I'm such a big fan of a Nepo baby. I hope that if I am a mom one day, that I will have Nepo children. Who doesn't want that? That's the American dream, is it not? Those are my thoughts, and I stand with them until I change my mind, which I could change my mind. I change my mind on everything very frequently. But that's where I stand on the Brooklyn Beckham of it all. I also want to talk about being lazy, cuddling up with my Taylor blanket, because like I said, we are stuck in a snowstorm. I know that this is tone deaf, and this is not going to sit well, but I have one pair of snow boots, and I'm wearing them right now. I will show the camera. Right? They're nice. Yeah, nice. They're also Jimmy Choo. My one pair of snow boots are Jimmy Choo snow boots. And it's because when I was a young girl, probably 22 years old, I was going through a breakup, and I thought, what would make me happy right now? And it was $1,200 snow boots. So now I will not let myself ever buy any new pair of snow boots. I have to use these until they break. And to be quite frank, they are cute. Like, they're cute boots. Like, I do like them, and maybe I'd purchase them again. I don't know. But they say chew on the side. And I have a friend, and when I wore these for the first time around him, he said, choo choo, like the train. And now I've not been able to look at them in the same beauty that I once did. Again, I digress. Let's talk about Blake and Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift does no wrong in my book, at all. I mean, my name is Taylor. Come on. What am I going to do? Shame another Taylor? I'm obsessed with her. The safest I've ever felt at a concert, safest I've ever felt in a crowd of people was 50,000 people at the Link for the Eras Tour. So the thing about Taylor Swift is when she fights with her friends, she doesn't fight with her friends. She audits them. Taylor Swift is a friend auditor. In the text messages and emails that came out between her and Blake Lively, it is baffling to me how cool, calm, and composed she is. In the ones that I'm talking about, Blake is writing Taylor saying, hey, I think that there's something different between us. I don't know what it is. I think we're in a friendship fight, but I have no reason to think we're in a friendship fight besides like the vibes I'm getting, which is so fair, actually. You all have those instances, especially in friendships, where you're like, are they mad at me? And maybe it's not a best friend in the whole entire world. So you think like, do I text them? Like, should I send them a voice note? Do they know if they're mad at me? Maybe they're not even thinking about me. But I love that Blake sent the message. Taylor Swift responded and was like, no, you're not crazy. There is something a little off, and I feel bad even saying that something feels off with us because I know how kind you've been to me. But I feel like you're treating our relationship a little corporate. She was like, I feel like when you text me, it's like emailing or texting 500 corporate folks. And she also pointed out that Blake turned into a little bit of a wee girl. Do we know what a wee girl is? A wee girl is a girl who can't say, oh my gosh, I love Heated Rivalry. I love the new Taylor Swift album. She goes, we love that, meaning her and her significant other. So she turned into a bit of a wee person. Taylor Swift said, it seems like you're using a lot of wees recently, and I just miss my funny, dark-humored friend. And you don't need to do anything to change anything, just like come back to me. And I thought that was so sweet because one, it's communication. Girls, we got to communicate with our other girlfriends. And two, I like that she responded like within an hour. The timestamps are there. She responded like within an hour. And she was very kind and considerate. And it seemed like they were getting back into a groove of a friendship. I know since then, allegedly, it has dissipated. So I don't know where they stand, but I like that Taylor was very, like, she audits her friends. Like, she was like, this is what bothered me. Check, 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 check. You might not have meant it, but it did, but it bothered me. I think I would be so nervous to send anything like that to a friend. The only times that I've had disagreements with friends are with friends that I don't have anymore, quite frankly. I feel like if you're disagreeing with your friends a lot and you're having to have those conversations of, I'm sorry because, I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Those are all just like, they're all phrases that just make me want to throw up. It's a little self-righteous, I think. And also, I'm not a big fan of having to like sit down and talk through your adult feelings with another adult that's not like your significant other or like family. I don't know. I think friends are not supposed to cause you stress and anxiety where you need to like meet up with them and be like, okay, let's talk about what's wrong in our friendship, in our relationship. I had a friend like that, and it always felt like for me there was constantly something wrong. Like I was constantly doing something that didn't appease her. I remember at one point I think we were in college, and I dropped off a note on her car, and I was like, hey, like, hope you're having a great week. So sorry I haven't seen you this week, but like I hope you're having a great first week of the semester. Love you, whatever. And mind you, I could have texted. I could have called her instead, but no, I was like, let me write a handwritten note because that's fucking adorable. She texted me after that and was like, it was so rude of you to come to my dorm and not come inside. And instead, you left a note on my car when it would have cost you less time to walk inside and just say, spare me, cry me a fucking river, get over yourself, you dumb bitch, over it. No, I don't like that. I do not have time to waste on adult friendships that take everything from you. Everything from you. So people like that and I are no longer friends, which is why my circle is so small. That was one of my New Year's resolutions. It was not to make any new friends. And we are at January, what day is it? 22nd? Haven't met a new friend yet this year, and I'm really pleased to say that. I'm sure someone will come filtering in and I'll have to off you go, dismiss them, but right now it's looking good. Or you guys all watched my ho, hold men accountable holiday special, and you're like, yeah, no one wants to be that girl's friend. That's for sure. I have a story about our dear friend Dave Cruz, who is not here on the podcast today. He will be on season 2, but I have a fun story about our dear friend Dave. Recently, someone reached out to me and said, hey, I know Dave, and I'm looking for a little help with XYZ. Now, you know me. I'm your girl. I'm Taylor. I'm a social media master. I'm a marketing master. I'm a PR nightmare, but I'm great at managing PR for other people. I think that this person is a friend of Dave's, okay? I think they're besties for some reason. We go out to dinner with Dave and cousin Michelle, and he's like, oh, I sent this girl your way. Like, she needed help. And I'm like, okay, mind you, we're drinking. So maybe part of this was lost in translation. But I think, okay, that's his friend. So I cut this girl the deal of a lifetime, only to find out this week in our first call, she doesn't know Dave. I mean, she knows of Dave, but they don't know each other. They're not like best friends. So now I'm doing fucking charity work, and it's because of Dave. So this podcast episode is dedicated to the money that I'm losing by helping a friend of Dave's. Thanks, Dave. Anyway, we move on. If you do like this comfy, cozy little blanket that I have, if you haven't noticed, it says Taylor. Let's see if we can. You can say there's letters. It says Taylor because it was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law. So thank you very much. I love it. Whew. We're gonna talk about a trip I took recently, and it changed my life. And you may be thinking, Taylor, a lot of things change your life because you tend to come on this podcast with a lot of opinions. But I did something that I don't typically do. Now, if you know my background, I'm not a city girl. I'm a big suburbs girly. I like New York City in small doses. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I love animals. I have 2 dogs. I am not a farmer, is what I'm trying to get at. I'm not sitting on top of a hay bale with my denim on, trying to reenact the Hannah Montana movie. That's not me. But I wanted to go to the farm show. Do we know what the farm show is? It's this beautiful, big convention full of agriculture. So it's anything agriculture related. So if it's pigs, there's pigs there. There's sheep. There's lamb. There are goats, which we'll circle back on the whole goat thing because my mind has kind of changed about goats. Oh, we don't have to circle back on it, actually. I used to love goats. Like, I used to think they were so adorable. And I did goat yoga down in Nashville before, and it was so much fun. And, like, all the goats were jumping on you, and it was adorable. But goats are, like, kind of evil, and they're, like, kind of, like, aggressive when they're not babies. So my thoughts on them have changed. Anyway, we're at the farm show. It's a lot. So I was warned beforehand, don't wear nice shoes because you're going to get the shoes all muddy and gross and maybe dirty. So of course I borrowed my sister's shoes without her knowing. And these shoes are actually very cute. They were like knee-high black boots with a thick chunk heel, and they were so comfortable. And they're actually pretty clean, so she could have them back if she wanted. Thank God she doesn't listen to this podcast. So I took her boots and I was like, okay, I have a cute outfit. I'm going to go to the farm show. I'm going to have so much fun. It's going to be like a rodeo. And the thing that I was most excited for were the cows. I wanted to see a baby cow. I wanted to see a calf, and I kind of wanted to hug it and just like, I don't know. Cows are cute. I've ridden horses before. I like horses. I figure what else is there? Cows. Awesome. And I thought like maybe I'm lactose intolerant, so it would be really fun for me one day to purchase a cow and then make my own lactose-free milk. Maybe. Any investors? Hit me up in the DMs. I go to this farm show. There is a small child around the cows. She's got to be like 5 years old. She's got pigtails. Her hair is bright blonde. I'm not a kid person. We know this. We're all listeners of the podcast. I'm not the one that's like, hey, let me babysit for you. No. But she comes up and she goes, do you want to meet my cows? And I, of course, was like, hell yeah. I want to meet your fucking cows. Show me. She goes, that one's cookies and cream. He's getting his hair done right now. And they were brushing him out and blow drying him. It was so cute. And then she's like, this one's Sally. We'll call her Sally. And I was like, Sally's so cute. So I'm like petting her cow. She's telling me all about the cows. And then she goes, that one is $900. And I said, oh God, I'm thinking $900 for a cow. I don't know the price of cows. I don't know what they go for these days. So $900, sure. Okay. I didn't realize that the price tag was for the cow to be. You're following what I'm saying here? I thought people were buying them at the farm show as pets. Like, I thought they were farmers and other leaders in agriculture who were like, okay, I'm going to buy another cow for my property. I'm going to buy another pig for my property. I didn't realize they were selling them to slaughter them. And that made me sick. That this little girl, 5-6 years old, is running around trying to sell her cows, knowing that they're going to be chopped up and put in someone's freezer and put on the grill this summer. I can't. So I'm no longer eating cow. No longer. No more steaks for me. No more burgers for me. I don't like birds. I'm really lucky that I hate birds. I don't like turkeys, and I don't like chickens. I don't like pigeons. I don't like anything that flies. Just birds freak me out. So I'll eat them because what else are they doing for me? They're not adorable. They're not cute. I don't have them as pets. They're not fuzzy and cuddly and adorable. No, but cows, I can't eat a cow now. There's no way. You would have to pay me like, my starting bid would be like $20,000, and then maybe I would eat a steak. But I was shocked. My husband thought that I was being silly. He was like, what's wrong? What, huh? And I was like, no, I thought they were pets. So I'm thinking of buying a lot of land and buying a cow, milking it, creating my own lactose-free milk, and perhaps like cottage cheese. That's something we're going to talk about. I've gotten a lot of hate on social media, and I want to address it. I want to address the elephant in the room, the cow in the room, if you will, the cottage cheese of it all. I posted Lactaid. I love you, by the way. Lactaid is the lactose-free version of basically anything that you get with lactose in it. So they make milk, they make sour cream, they make cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese. I don't know why that bothers so many of you. I posted 3 containers of cottage cheese that I got because I'll go through them in like 10 days. Especially now that I'm not eating a significant amount of meat. Like, I do need some sort of protein, so the cottage cheese is just perfect. But the amount of DMs I had of you guys sliding in being like, you are a disgusting human being who eats cottage cheese, I was shocked. So I didn't know that it was that much of a debate. But since it is, why? Why? What about it grosses you out? Like, please sound off in the comments. I sound like an old school YouTuber. Please go sound off in the comments. Okay, almost did an English accent there. Can I talk about this? I can. I didn't sign in. I didn't. I always have to go through. Did I sign an NDA? On today's segment of Did She Sign an NDA? I did not. I'm doing this audiobook. Like, I'm an audiobook narrator. Please don't look it up. Please don't look any of them up. But I've done this for the past maybe 8 years of my life. I've done a lot of audiobooks. And the most recent one I got an audition for. And my editor says, my audiobook agent, actually, he goes, "Hey, T, this one may be a little bit of a stretch." And I think, why? Why is this a stretch, Rory? Like, tell me. He goes, "Well, it's an English accent." And I was like, I can't do an English accent for a whole audiobook. And if I do, I don't think they're going to like it. He goes, "Well, they're obsessed. This client is obsessed with your voice. They want you to do it. So just give me what you got." So I'm reading in an English accent, and it sounds kind of like this, and I'm not really good at it. I'm trying to think, like, what I said. Like the cup of coffee on the table. It wasn't good. Okay, we're getting where I'm going. It wasn't good. I got an email back this morning, and they were like, "You've got it. You got the book." I don't want this book. I'm scared of this book, quite frankly, because you guys are all going to find it. Someone's going to find it. They're going to be like, "This English accent is horrible. Why did they pick her for this project?" I'm trying to convince them not to pick me. But as of right now, I don't even know if I'm going to even keep this part in the podcast because I might have to sign an NDA. Speaking of NDAs, things you're not supposed to talk about. I'm like, hey, speaking of those, let's go into it. We have a lot of fun guests coming up on season 2 of this podcast, and I just want to do a little name drop of someone you may know, you may love, and has been on your screens before. Brandon McLaughlin is coming on the podcast. You know him from Below Deck. You love him from Below Deck. We had the time of our motherfucking lives when he was in Philadelphia. We had a blast, and the podcast proves it. You're going to be floored at all of the tea we spill, all of the fun little secrets that we share along the way. We have so many fun people coming up on season 2, a lot of familiar faces, and a lot of people that you would probably think would never sign on to come on this fucking podcast. So we've really stepped up our game, and I'm kind of loving that this is like a you and me moment, guys. Like, we're just cuddling up on our snow day, watching the snow fall out our window and wishing we lived in Florida. Maybe not Florida. Maybe the Caribbean. We'll say Jamaica. Also, I have a correction from an episode that aired, I think, New Year's. I was speaking about the native language of Jamaica because my best friend Ocean is from Jamaica, and I got that wrong. So I can't tell you what the native language of Jamaica is because I'll probably get it wrong again, but I was fact-checked in the comments. I was also fact-checked about the male loneliness epidemic. Okay, men. Can we all gather here for a second? Men, are we all here? I'll give you a second. Your attention spans are a little compared to women's. Okay, we're here. Amazing. Hi, guys. You're really upset about me calling you lonely. Only lonely people would flood the comments looking for validation. Let's all say it together. Only lonely people flood the comments looking for validation. That's all I got. I mean, this podcast is in jest. If you're taking it that hard that you're like, I'm not lonely, I'm a man and I have friends and I'm not lonely. What, I can't go to a sporting event without women telling me I'm lonely? Oh my God, get off your fucking soapbox, Mark. Go fuck yourself. Like, this podcast is not for you. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking of men that are bothering me, let's call them out by name, shall we? Let's do it. On my way to record today, I got a lovely message. And I'm so glad it's still here. I thought it was going to get deleted because, like, if you're on a external app, sometimes if the other person deletes it. Good. So this is a man in the industry, and I'm not going to say his last name because I don't want to, I was going to say I don't want to get sued, but I'm not really scared of that. My lawyer is so fucking badass. Like, come at us. She's like, actually, Taylor, stop saying that. Don't come at us. I want to talk about this man, Patrick. Patrick, you know who you are. In the same realm as me, we were discussing a potential collaboration of sorts, right? For minimum gain. You know what I'm saying. The money was not there. It was supposed to be the mutual thing. Ready? I sent a file of a sample. Hi, Taylor. I won't even bother to listen to your file. Both the insert job here and I are sticklers when it comes to only hiring talent who follow instructions. I specifically put in bold letters, shouty caps, bold letters so that there was no way possible to miss the instructions. But you still managed not to read them. I also specifically, which he loves that word, which is like probably the only word over 5 letters that he knows, wrote in the chat to read the instructions before, shouty caps, recording your sample. Let me be clear. The sample that I recorded and sent over, because I checked this afterwards, I was like, I'm right? Like if I'm going to stand 10 toes down on something, I need to fact check myself to make sure that I'm accurate in what I'm saying. So I checked the sample and I'm like, wait, I did what he asked. So the instructions prior, I did in the sample. So there's no basis for this. I say, Patrick, I'm going to be very clear since you enjoy bold instructions. The way you speak to talent while dangling a low-budget project is very telling. Refusing to listen to a file while lecturing about standards is not authority, it's insecurity with a keyboard. I'll happily withdraw from this project, do better, and I hope you step on a fucking Lego. And guess what? I mean that, Patrick, and I could have said way worse. My original message would just shred you into pieces. You probably would just cry for the next 48 hours. But I didn't. I chose the high road to just tell you to go step on a Lego. Don't talk to people like that. Bold. Especially when I have a platform. Bold. Speaking of having a platform, something weird's been happening. And I had to know it was going to happen. You know, like it's bound to happen as you get more and more viewers or listenership or downloads or popularity. As more people start to know who you are, more people are going to start reaching out, right? And they're going to say things and ask questions and tell you things that they thought about your podcast and start making suggestions about the podcast that they don't have, right? And of course, people from your past are going to come up once they see like you're talking on social media or you're talking on your podcast. Well, I block people a lot. I'm a big blocker. If you go through the amount of people I have blocked on my phone, upwards of like 1,000 contacts, and some of them are spam, sure, but like if someone says something that like rubs me the wrong way, even a little bit, blocked, done, you're out of my sight. Even on Instagram, I'm one of those people that mutes everyone. Like if I like your Instagram pictures, you're not muted because I like you. But like there are some people, I don't care what you post. That does not concern me, not one bit, Brenda. So I mute you so I don't unfollow you, but I don't see you in my feed. So I guess this is what happened. The other night, it's about 11:36 p.m. and I get a notification and my phone buzzes and it's a Venmo request. And I was like, who's Venmo requesting me? And I panic because I am that girl that's, if I owe you money, that is like the worst thing that I can do. I'm always the one to put my card down first. I'm always Venmoing you more than I owe you. Like it's just one of my insecurities that I will not pay someone back. So when I get a Venmo request, I was like, who is this? So I click it and it's for a cent. And it says, did I just see you in Wawa? LOL. There's one thing about me. You're not going to find me at your local Wawa. Not because I don't like Wawa. Big fan. I don't like to get out of my car. I don't like to get out of my vehicle. If I'm getting coffee, it's a drive-through. Live, laugh, love. Also, I don't love to get gas in my car. That's a blue job. So that's reserved for my husband and my father. And if they didn't get me gas, then I guess I just wouldn't go anywhere. But it wouldn't have been me at Wawa. So immediately it's late. I call my sister. She looks just like me. And I look just like my mom. So I know it's not my mom because I just talked to my mom. She wasn't at Wawa. My mom's my best friend. If she was at Wawa, I'd know. So I call my sister. I'm like, hey, were you at Wawa? She's like, no, I'm in bed. It's 11:30 and I've been home from work for like 6 hours. It's like, okay, so weird. So I'm like, who is this man who Venmo'd requested me, asking if he saw me at Wawa? I go to sleep. The next morning, he cancels the Venmo request, but I'm still able to go back and look. So I go back, look, and I see that we're friends on Venmo. Who is this guy, right? So I'm searching his name on Facebook. He doesn't come up. I'm searching on Instagram. He doesn't come up. I go on my messages, and I'm like, okay, let me try to like reverse search his username to see if I like mentioned him in a text message, who knows when. The name is Nick. Right? So it's such a classic name, Nick. Everybody's name is fucking Nick. So I'm like, who is Nick? And the last name is like a joke name. It's like a username. Could not for the life of me find out who this person was. I was able to find the phone number because in my head, I was like, am I being stalked? Is someone trying to find me? Am I going to end up like the girl in the box? We know about the girl in the box, Lifetime movie. Girl gets put in a box under someone's bed and she has to stay there for like 7 years until someone finds her. I don't want to be put in a box under someone's bed. So I'm trying to find this Nick person. I discover Nick is a man that I went on approximately 1 or 2, maybe 3 dates with back in like 2019, a while ago. And I blocked him. So if you saw me in Wawa, his only method of contacting me 6 years later is Venmo. The question is, why did I block Nick? I have zero recollection of going out with this man, but I saw the receipts. We did go out. And what he did. What made me block you? So I sat and I was like, what am I supposed to like make of this? I haven't done anything yet. But I've still been thinking, what did Nick do that made me block him? And I feel like I just like need closure on this for myself. So I'm making up scenarios. Maybe we went to dinner and he asked to split it. I probably would have blocked him. Maybe we went to dinner and he talked about his political views the whole time. Probably blocked him. I don't know, but Nick did something to piss me off. Funny enough, when I was going through this little cascade down into my past trying to figure out who the fuck Nick was, I came across a message that I had when I first started in radio and when I first had a mic. I was a young 25 years old, maybe 24, 25 years old in comparison to my late age of 28 now. And I had told a story. I guess I told a story about a bad date that I was on. And I was on this a bad date. And I remember it. I remember this one very, very, very vividly because we went to a sushi place, which I was all about. I was like, yay, sushi. But there was no booze. So like you had to BYOB, but we didn't bring our own anything. So we ended up like going to a bar after. And at the bar, he brought his friends. Like on the date, he brought his friends. So and then they started ordering shots. So that's not my scene. So I called my sister and I was like, hey, can you come pick me up? My sister runs into the bar and is like, Taylor, there's an emergency. One of my friends is so sick. Will you drive us to the nearest like hospital? And like, of course, like it's the most dramatic story ever. And she's fully committed. Like there's tears in her eyes. I'm like, see you later. So nice to meet ya. Enjoy those green tea shots, bro. We leave. I go home. We're laughing about it. The next Monday at work, I'm like, all right, I got to get on a mic and I have to tell this story to the morning show. I'm on 102.9 at the time. And I tell the story. And this is the message that I see when I'm trying to find out why I blocked this random guy, Nick. It was a text from this guy, two paragraphs saying, hey, Taylor, I heard your story about our date on the radio today, and I just want to know, like, I'm so sorry. What did I do wrong? Because I had no idea that your sister was faking the emergency to pick you up, but like totally valid and completely go tell me to kick rocks. Like, I'm a little bit of a weird guy. Hope you have a great life. And I never replied. And reading this message now, well into my 20s, well into like, I've been married for almost 3 years, I was cracking up because that takes a lot of like tenacity for him to have sent that message and be like, or a lot of embarrassment because he was probably like on the way to work one morning and then he's like, oh, that's the girl I just went on a date with. Like, she's talking on the radio, turns up the radio. And then I'm like, actually, he was awful. My sister had to pick me up. That sucks. And I'm sorry I never responded to your message, but not really, because it probably gave you a lot of clout. And I'm sure a lot of girls were like, wow, you went on a date with that girl? I guess I'll go on a date with them. I'm kidding. That's going to cause a stir in the comments, I'm sure. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube to this podcast, go do that. You're going to want to. If you haven't subscribed on Spotify, on Apple Music, on anywhere that you get your podcasts, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to leave an amazing rating, and you're going to want to follow me on socials at Taylor_Brooke on Instagram. And then you can also find me on Threads, same username, and then TikTok, Taylor Show, and then Taylor Brooke, 3 A's, 3 O's. I hope you guys are all comfy, cozy, sitting with your hot chocolate, your hot toddies, maybe a handle of vodka. That's what Dave's probably doing. I hope you're sitting on your couches right now and you're watching the snowfall and you have absolutely nothing to do. I hope that your power doesn't go out. I hope that you don't have to shiver in the cold. And I hope that they plow your neighborhoods and you don't fall on ice. Unless your name is Patrick and you were a dick to me this week. In that case, hope you do more than step on a Lego, pal. Thank you guys so much for turning me on for season 2. I'm so excited. We have so much in store. Thank you, little gremlins, for listening, and I'll see you next week.